Hello students, this is the fourth video lecture of chapter 3 Atoms and Molecules, class 9th Science. In this video lecture we would be focusing on ions. In previous video lectures we have gone through the history regarding atoms and molecules, different philosophies given by the philosophers and the experimental laws given by two French chemists, Antoine Lavoisier and Joseph Proust. On the basis of that means on the basis of philosophy and on the basis of experimental laws, Dalton gave Dalton's atomic theory. John Dalton, who was an English school teacher, he gave this Dalton's atomic theory. We have already gone through the postulates and the limitations regarding this in the second video lecture. In the third video lecture, we looked into the atoms, what are atoms, how their size varies, what are the ranges. Basically, we calculate the size of atom on the basis of radii. Similarly, in case of molecules also, how can we calculate the size, the mass, molecular mass and atomic mass on the basis of calculating the relative mass of all other elements. How can we do that? What is atomic mass unit? What is unified mass? AMU, small u. We have already discussed all these things. We have also said that atoms do not exist independently. We have said, that means we have learned, already gone through this, that atoms exist independently. They do not are you agreeing with me with this statement that atoms do not exist independently? Yes, of course, they do not exist independently. They are dependent on other atoms or molecules. That means they combine with atoms of different or same elements and lead to the formation of molecule or ion. So we have already done with molecules, how the formation of molecules takes place. What are the properties regarding the molecules? How can we calculate molecular mass? We have looked into few questions regarding how to calculate molecular mass. We have also seen the difference between molecule of element and molecule of compound. So now in this video lecture we are going to start about what is an ion. So what is the difference between ion and molecule? After making you aware about ion, you would come to know that yes, this is an ion, this is a molecule. How come? Because atom leads to the formation of either molecule, aggregation of atom leads to the formation of either molecule or formation of an ion. So in case if we talk about ion is an atom or group of atoms, which carries positive or negative charge. So ion is something which is a charged body which carries either positive or negative charge. It is not specified that iron should carry negative charge or iron should carry positive charge. Can be either of any charges, this is not group of atom only, because we say that atom forms group and lead to the formation of molecule or ion. So group of atoms can lead to the formation of molecule, can lead to the formation of ion. A single atom can also be said an ion. How come? When is the condition that we can say that an atom is an ion? When that atom possesses any kind of charge, positive or negative, then that atom is referred as ion. Similarly, group of atoms is known as molecule. When that molecule possesses any positive or negative charge, then that is referred as ion. So like suppose in case here if I am talking about this, can you identify this? This is a symbol of element hydrogen and it is representing one atom or single atom of element hydrogen. So this is an atom. But in case if I talk about H plus, that means now the atom is having positive charge, any charge, but is having the charge. Therefore, H plus can be referred as ion. Similarly, this is for sodium, Na, sodium, from the Latin name natrium. Okay, we give the symbol to the sodium as Na plus. Okay, so in case here if I talk about Na plus, what is Na plus? So you would be saying, ma'am, it is an ion. Why? Because if I only wrote Na, so this is the symbol of the element sodium and is representing the single atom of sodium. But in case if I place a charge on it, then you can say that this is an ion. This is an ion. Similarly, chlorine, Cl, chlorine. Okay. So in chlorine also, since it is possessing negative charge, we would be referring it as ion. So either the atom is possessing positive charge or negative charge, doesn't matter. If atom possesses any charge, we would be then referring that species as ion. Okay. Now, what is neutral atom? Now this concept you would be studying in much detail in chapter 4, structure of atom. So you think that since the initial portions of structure of atom are being taught in chapter 3, atoms and molecules, so atom and molecules is forming the base for chapter 4, structure of atom. So you be attentive in this chapter, make all your concepts of these topics clear. Okay, regarding these topics clear. What is atom, what is ion, what is molecule, atom, group of atom leads to the formation of molecule. If group of atom or any atom possesses charge, then that particular species is referred as ion. All these concepts should be clear. Okay, so that this would make easy for you to understand chapter 4, structure of atom. Okay. For solving a mystery in a suspense for solving a mystery in a suspense movie, what you have to see, or if you want to just simply entertain with a suspense movie. So if I make you observe the movie after interval, I would be asking you to see the movie after interval. So would it be that much fun to see or observe? You would be saying, how come we would be knowing the characters, how come we could be knowing the story or the background of the film. The starting portion is very important to understand the suspense and the thrill they are trying to give. Okay, to make you feel entertaining. So for observing a suspense movie, and observing it and entertaining yourself with a very nice punch, so you have to see the full movie from starting. If you missed any part, the joy, the interest would evaporate. So the thing is, you have to observe the movie from starting. Similarly, if you want to feel the suspense, the thrill in chapter 4, you have to understand chapter 3 clearly. The concepts regarding the topic of this chapter should be much clear. And there is nothing to mug up or to rectify all the things. But the thing is, the concept should be clear. Okay, so I was saying that in case if I talk about neutral atom, when I say neutral atom, so there is something known as positive, there is something known as negative, and there is something known as neutral. Okay, so if you are ever being observing a gear in the car, there is one gear. Okay, when you are sitting on a driving seat, there is one gear. And in gear, you keep, by pressing the clutch, you keep the, gear on neutral, if you have ever heard. If you are playing car games or, in mobile phone also, or if you are in real time, in real life, you have observed this thing, neutral gear. Big gear neutral mein dalo. When you are, placing the car in neutral, when you do not want to move your car in either forward, backward or any sideways direction. You want to make your car just still at one place. Neither forward nor backward nor sideways anything. You have to place the car still at one place. So you are placing your by pressing the clutch, placing the gear or changing the position of the gear to neutral. Am I right? Okay. So similarly, when I say neutral atom, that means the atom is neither having positive charge nor having negative charge. That means the atom is, the car is not moving in forward or backward direction. Similarly, atom is neither having positive charge nor having any negative charge. Neutral means that the number of positive charge and the number of negative charges are same. This doesn't mean neutral atom means there is no positive charge, no negative charge. So this doesn't mean there is not any charge present in the atom. There is no charge present in the atom. Neutral atom doesn't say this. Neutral atom says that the number of positive charge is equivalent to the number of negative charge in a particular atom. So inside an atom there are positive charges, there are negative charges, and if I talk about neutral atom, like suppose hydrogen, having any positive or negative charge, are you able to observe any sign? No. So it is neutral atom. Why? So you cannot say there is no positive charge, no negative charge. This is not the thing. The thing is the number of negative charge electrons. Are you able to recall electrons and protons? We discussed subatomic particles. Regarding this, we have already discussed in second video lecture limitations of Dalton's atomic theory, where Dalton told that atom is the smallest particle of matter which cannot be further divided. But after invention of some modern techniques, there was a limitation to this postulate of Dalton, and the limitation says that apart from atom, or instead of atom, there is even smaller particles known as subatomic particles, okay, which are referred as electrons, protons and neutrons. So electrons means negative charge, protons means positive charge. So here the number of negative charge is equal to number of positive charge. Okay, electrons and protons are already present in the atom. See, E minus, electron having negative charge, proton having positive charge. Done? So electrons and protons. So the number of electrons and the number of protons in an atom are equal in number. Okay. Therefore, there is no dominating charge. Suppose if I ask you to, there are 2 electrons. So 2 electrons means minus 2. There are 2 protons, that means plus 2. If you want to solve this, how would you be solving? What would be the answer? So, one positive, one negative, put the sign of bigger number and subtract the number. So here there is no bigger number, so you won't be facing any sign, and simply minus 2 plus 2. That leads to the formation of 2 minus 2, that is equal to 0. Are you getting? Okay, this says something similar to this. I hope you are getting. The thing is, overall charge on the atom is 0. Although having some negative charge, but overall charge of the atom is 0. So, the number of electrons and number of protons are same. Therefore, the overall charge on the atom is 0, and therefore we are referring the atom as neutral. If the atom by chance loses electrons, that means it is giving out its negativity from its body. Atom is giving out negativity from its body. So suppose this atom was having 2 electrons and 2 protons. So if it gives out 1 electron, so how many electrons and protons left in the atom? If it loses 1 electron, that means only 1 electron and 2 protons are left in that. Okay, 1 electron and 2 protons. So which one is dominating? Positive charge is dominating because the number of positive charge are more as compared to the negative charge. Therefore, overall charge on the atom would be positive, and such an atom which is having positive charge, or any group of atom having positive charge is referred as cation. here the number of electrons would be less than the number of protons. In that opposite case, suppose in neutral atom there are 2 electrons and 2 protons, but you know gain of electron occurs, that means atom gains electron. So suppose from 2 it becomes now 4, it gains 2 electrons. That means the number of electron is more than the number of proton. That means the overall charge on the atom is negative. Why? Because there are 4 electrons and 2 protons. So which charge is dominating? कौन सा ज़्यादा है? This one. And that too also two negative charges have been increased. है ना? So therefore overall charge on the atom would be negative. Any atom or group of atom having negative charge is referred as anion. Okay, so this was the basic concept regarding ion, cation, anion, neutral atom. So when the atom is not having any charge, that means the number of negative charges and the number of positive charges inside the atom is same. What did I say? That the number of positive charges and the number of negative charges, if they are same, that means that particular atom is neutral atom, is just an atom. But if there is loss of electron or there is gain of electron, then they lead to the formation of cation or anion, depending on whether it is a loss of electron or whether it is a gain of electron. Are you getting? Simple concept? Okay. We move on to next. The atom loses or gain electrons. Why there is a need for the atom to gain or lose electron? So to achieve stability, to become stable, atom do this. Now how come? So you would be studying in detail in chapter 4. So you have to just for now you have to understand that why atom is gaining or losing electron is to achieve stability, to become stable. Everyone in the life wants to become stable. Everyone in the life, okay, in his or her life wants peace in their complete life, wants happiness. But this is not the true case. Okay, you think only, is this practically possible? Not. There are always ups and downs in the life, so you have to carry forward these ups and downs and you have to remain happy all the time. Try to remain happy all the time. Okay, so this is the case, the atom loses or gain electrons, it means the atom wants to become stable. So for stability, if it requires to gain electron, it would be gaining and becoming anion. For achieving stability, if it wants to lose electrons, that means it wants to remove negativity, it would be removing negativity and becoming cation. That means the overall charge on the atom would be more of positive charge. Since there is more positive charge, the overall charge on the atom would be positive. So you have to remember this simple concept and you have to remember the reason why atom is gaining or losing electron is to achieve stability. How they are achieving would be studying in chapter 4. Next, if the size of an atom goes on increasing, then the number of electrons and protons will also increase. Okay, so these two statements are regarding to the chapter 4. Okay. So if you are not able to grasp these points right now, do not worry. Be calm and try to understand the main concept regarding the ion. If you are not able to leave it for now, reach to chapter 4, read there. If you are not able to, then there is a need to worry. But since you have not reached to chapter 4 and you have not referred these points once again in chapter 4, okay, so till then keep calm, keep calm and relax yourself and focus on this major concept. Yeah, the main concept to make you understand here is this, not these two. Okay, the next is a group of atoms having charge is called polyatomic ion. So once an atom is having charge, it is referred as ion. But if we say that there is a group of atoms having charge, like suppose SO4. So this SO4, there are total how many atoms? How many atoms are there? You would be saying 2, so you are wrong. There are 4 atoms of oxygen and 1 atom of sulfur. That means 4 plus 1, total 5 atoms of, 5 atoms is forming this molecule. So this molecule, which is formed by a group of atoms, is having a charge 2 minus. Okay. So this particular, group of atom having charge is referred as polyatomic ion. So group of atom having charge is referred as polyatomic ion. If only, atom having charge, then this is referred as ion. Okay, so you have to remember the term polyatomic ion. What does it implies? Okay, now there is a very major and very important topic regarding, the concept of valency. This is much important, है ना? So valency of an element is defined as the combining capacity of the element. You can define it in very simple terms that valency is nothing but is the combining capacity of an element. For example, we can understand this definition with 2 examples. The valency of oxygen, valency of an element, valency of oxygen is 2. By default, valency of oxygen is 2. That means what? This means that 1 atom of oxygen can combine with 2 atoms of any other element like hydrogen. So if you observe, O, has 2 as the valency. That means it has the capability to combine with any 2 other elements. Like oxygen combined with 2 elements of, hydrogen, 2 atoms of hydrogen, and leads to the formation of H2O, that is water. Similarly, oxygen can combine with 2 other elements like carbon, and it leads to the formation of C2O. Is this compound exist? Is this compound exist? No. So this is not the thing. So it depends. Oxygen wants to combine with which element? Okay. So we would be simply discarding carbon. Recall the nitrogen. Recall for nitrogen. Okay. So similarly, oxygen. So this leads to the formation of compound N2O. This compound exists. This compound exists. How come? So we would be, reaching to this. Okay, there is another, that is S2O. So you search for this. Does this, molecule exist? What is the name of this molecule? S2O. Okay. Just now, after understanding the concept of valency, we would be understanding how to write chemical formula for certain molecules. Till then you have to search. Does H2O exist? I said N2O exists. C2O doesn't exist. H2O exists. You are all aware of it. That means that oxygen has the capacity to combine with 2 other atoms of any element like hydrogen. In case if I talk about, take another example like chlorine. So the valency of chlorine is 1. It means that it can combine with only 1 atom of any other element. Like suppose hydrogen, sodium or potassium. Like suppose Cl. Cl has only 1, atom can combine with this chlorine. Like suppose hydrogen. Leads to the formation of HCl. Chlorine can combine with sodium, leads to the formation of NaCl. So HCl is present, NaCl is possible. Okay? This molecule is present, persists, and in case chlorine can also combine with potassium to form KCl. So this compound also exists. So these are the after knowing the combining capacity, you are actually guessing the valency of that particular element. Okay, so I hope you are a little bit introduced and clear with valency. The valency is simply the combining capacity of an element. An element, an atom, a single atom of the element can combine with how many other atoms of elements. I hope you are getting this. So this is regarding valency. Okay, we have just now initiated. So a few more points to discuss regarding valency. So on the basis of valencies, you can write the chemical formula for a molecule. What is the chemical formula? So chemical formula represents the composition of a molecule of a substance in terms of symbols present in the molecule. Okay, so we have already gone through the symbols of some of the elements. I also asked you to go through the symbols given in the textbook in a tabular form of different elements. You go through that, okay, and using these symbols you can form the formula for molecules. Chemical formula can be formed for molecule only because there are symbols for atoms, and when atoms combine, the symbol combines, and if you write the collection of these symbols, it ultimately leads to the formation of chemical formula. So for writing a chemical formula, this is very important. It is essential to know the symbol of the element and the combining capacity of the element. So to write the chemical formula, you require symbol of the element, you should know, and you should know the combining capacity. That means they are talking about valency of elements. So you should be able to know, or you should able to mug up or ratify the valency of some of the elements given in the textbook and the symbols of the elements. Using these two, you can write the chemical formula. How come? So there are some rules and steps to follow while writing chemical formula using the valency and the symbol of the element. Okay, so let us talk about the rules or the steps for following, steps you should follow while writing the chemical formula of a particular molecule of a substance. Like in case of simple molecular compounds. Here simple molecular compounds, basically they are talking about binary molecules. That means the molecules having two elements. Binary molecules, that means the elements, the molecule having two elements. Okay, so the symbol of the two elements are written side by side, and their respective valencies are written below their symbols. Like in case, if I want to write the, they are first of all giving you the name. Like, write the chemical formula for hydrogen chloride, or hydrochloric acid. So what you would be doing? There are two elements, that is H and Cl. So you would be writing the symbol for the two elements involved in this formation of molecule. Then below the symbol of the two elements, you have to write the valency. So for writing the chemical formula, you should know the symbol of the element. You should know the valency of that element. Like for hydrogen, the valency is 1 plus 1. For chlorine, the valency is minus 1. So in this way, first of all, you have to write for binary molecular compounds. Like in case if we talk about simple ionic compound is present, so the symbol of metal atom is written first, followed by the non-metal, non-metal atom. Like in case sodium chloride, they have given, write the chemical formula of sodium chloride. So you first of all identify that in these molecules there are two elements involved. One is sodium and one is chlorine. Sodium is metal, chlorine is non-metal. Already studied in metals and non-metals class 8. Okay, sodium is metal, you would be writing it first, followed by non-metal chlorine. Below them, then you write the valency, that for sodium it is plus 1, for chlorine it is minus 1. So this is one of the steps you have to write, but the case differs. In case if you are having simple molecular compounds, You just write the two symbols of the two elements and their respective valency below them. In case if you encounter such a molecule in which metals and non-metals are present, you write the symbol first of metal followed by non-metal. In case of ionic compounds containing polyatomic ions, the formula of polyatomic ion should be written in bracket, like in case sulfate. So you know why, if the example, for example, it is given, write the chemical formula for copper sulfate. That means Cu for copper, sulfate for SO4. So you write this SO4 in bracket. Then you write the valency. Like for copper the valency is +2. For sulfate the valency is -2. So they are asking you to write the polyatomic ions in bracket. Okay. Next, in any of the above case, three cases we discussed. In the molecule having, a binary molecule, that means having two elements, basically two elements. Then in that, the two elements should be right side by side and below them their respective valencies should be written. Next, in case if you encounter with any molecule which is having metal and a non-metal, you have to write first the symbol of metal followed by non-metal and then the respective valencies below each of the element, metal and non-metal. Third, in polyatomic, suppose a molecule is containing polyatomic ion, group of atoms, like here. This molecule, copper sulfate, is containing polyatomic ion. So you have to write this polyatomic ion in bracket. Fourth, in any of the above case, if there is a common factor between the valencies of two ions, then you divide the valencies of the two elements by common factor. Suppose there are two elements like X and Y. If we wrote copper sulfate, HCl, NaCl, so there are two elements. So in case if we not specify the element, but we place, suppose there is one X element, there is one Y element. Suppose the valency of X element is 4 and that of Y element is 2. So you have identified the two elements in the molecule, you have written the symbol of the two elements, you have written the valencies of the two elements below them, below the elements. Then you see 4 and 2. So there is a common factor 2 in these two terms. So you divide it by 2. 2 ones are 2 twos are. So right now what would be it? 2 and 1. So instead of 4 and 2, you divide it by common factor, divide the valency of common factor and you replace the valencies by these number after dividing the common factor. I hope you are getting. Okay. Now, in case, suppose, we take another example. Like suppose the X element is having 3 valency, Y element is having 6 valency. Then also divide the common factor. Divide with the common factor. 3 ones are, 3 twos are. So right now for valency X, valency for X is 1, valency for Y is 2. So you have to divide the valencies by common factor and rearrange the numbers below the elements, below the symbol of the elements. Done. So these were the 4 rules, and this is applicable for any of the above case. This is not for only metal and non-metal, or not for only polyatomic ions, or not for any binary molecule. This is for all. Okay. Applying then you have to apply crisscross of the valencies to appear on the lower right hand side of the symbols. So suppose after let us take an example of starting with HCl and reaching to this afterwards, and this point afterwards. So like suppose HCl, hydrochloric acid. So you would be first writing the symbol of the element, first step. Second, write the valencies of each element below the symbol of that element. Like suppose hydrogen, the valency of hydrogen is +1. The valency of chlorine is -1. Written the valencies. Then is there any common factor through which you can divide the two valencies? No, there is no common factor. Okay. The next step is crisscross. Crisscross means you give this -1 to hydrogen and give this +1 to chlorine, and give this means what? You have to write it on lower right hand side of each, like you know H, तो H के lower right hand side पे you would be writing -1, chlorine के lower right hand side पे you are writing +1, but they are saying that you have to omit 1 if there is 1 on the lower right hand side, if you have to omit it. If there is positive or negative sign, you have to that also you have to omit it. So for the chemical formula of hydrochloric acid, it is HCl. Are you getting? Like suppose any number raised to 1, or else what we can say is not raised to, here it is in subscript. That means H के अगर यहाँ पे 1 है, Cl के अगर यहाँ पे 1 है, so you have to omit the 1. If there is any positive negative sign, you have to omit the sign also. Okay? Like in case, if we take the example of, copper sulfate. So for copper, the valency is +2. For sulfate, you have to write it in bracket. The valency is -2. Is there any common factor? Yes, 1. Okay? So you divide this. This becomes +1. This becomes -1. You have divided it. Now do the crisscross. So -1 of copper and +1 of sulfate. Since the sign should be omitted, 1 should be omitted, what would be the formula? CuSO4. Since outside the bracket there is 1, तो अगर 1 है, हम 1 को ओमिट कर रहे हैं तो हम ब्रैकेट को भी ओमिट करेंगे. अगर मान लो ब्रैकेट के बाहर 2 होता, then you have to place the bracket. But since outside the bracket it is 1, you have to omit the bracket. So these are some simple rules you have to follow. Last rule is very much of important. This is also important, like you have to write first metal then non-metal. You have to write the symbol of two elements differently, and you have to write the respective valencies below the symbol. You have to write the polyatomic ions in bracket. Okay, and their valencies below them. Then if there is only any common factor, you have to divide the valency, and then you have to do the crisscross. By crisscross also, if there is any positive or negative sign, you have to omit it. If there is 1, you have to completely omit that 1. We would be solving some questions. You are, then you would be fluent enough in solving these kinds of, and in getting these kinds of chemical formula for particular molecule. So for solving this, what do you require is you should know the symbol of the element, and you should know the combining capacity, valency of the element. So symbols, so majorly you are able to now, you are through enough. Yes, this is the symbol for this element. Only few you won't be able to recall, so you have to recall from the table given in the textbook. Apart from this, there is another table for valencies given in textbook. So you have to that also remember and rectify. For this, I have written here. I have not written the name of all the ions given here. Like suppose this is the sodium. Na is the symbol for sodium. Plus refers that the valency of sodium is +1. Potassium, Kalium से आया था potassium. Valency of potassium is +1. Valency of silver. Silver का the name, the symbol for the silver is derived from Latin name Argentinum. So that is +1. Copper +1. So these are known as monoatomic cations. Cations क्यों? Because they are having positive charge. Mono because they are having one valency. ठीक है? और that means the combining capacity is of one atom. They can combine with only one another atom. Are you with me? Okay, so sodium, potassium, silver, copper having +1 valency. Similarly, Mg, magnesium having +2. That means their valency is +2. Calcium +2, zinc +2, iron, ferrum, है ना, Fe +2, copper +2. Now see, copper is also having +1 valency. copper is also having +2 valency. So there are some elements who have variable valency. That means they do not have fixed valency, but sometimes they can have +1 valency like copper, or they have +2 valency. Okay, so how come you would be knowing that whether this copper this time is having +1 or +2? So while giving you the name, for suppose if they they ask you to write the chemical formula for copper sulfate, so they would be writing like this: copper 2 sulfate. That means they would be saying that for making the formula for this molecule, you would be taking the valency of copper as +2. So this 2 here is asking you to take the valency of copper as +2 and not +1. If they would be writing with Roman number 1, that means this time you have to take the valency +1. Okay, so these are the divalent. Divalent means valency 2. This was monovalent. Monovalent cations. Are you with me? Monovalent, divalent, magnesium, calcium, zinc, iron, copper. If you are not able to recall like this, there are names given in textbook. You can simultaneously watch right now with me. Now there is another trivalent cations. Cations means having positive charge. Trivalent, 3 valency. Aluminium +3 valency. Iron +3. Again, iron is also having +2. Iron is also having +3. So that you have to remember. Next, if hydrogen is having positive charge, then it is referred as hydrogen. If the hydrogen atom is having negative charge, then it is known as hydride. So this is monovalent anion. Chloride. This would be bromide. Iodide. Bromide. Iodide. If O2- is given, oxide. So see, hydride, chloride, bromide, iodide are monovalent anion. Anion is for negative ion. Oxide, divalent, 2-, na? Valency of oxygen is 2-. Valency of sulfur is 2-, referred as sulfide. Valency of nitrogen is 3-, that is trivalent anion, nitride. These are polyatomic ions. Okay, this is polyatomic cation. NH4+ is referred as ammonium. OH- hydroxide. So ammonium का valency क्या है? Observe this charge is plus. That means +1 is the valency of ammonium. OH-, observe the charge minus. Is there any number given? No. So you have to consider it as -1. So hydroxide is the valency of -1 is the valency of hydroxide. Now NO3- nitrate. You have to remember these names also. So NO3-, that means nitrate has -1 valency. Similarly, hydrogen carbonate, also known as bicarbonate. So this is also having -1 valency. Carbonate, -2 valency. Okay, -2 valency. SO3 2-, sulfite having -2 valency. This is known as sulfate. SO4 2-, sulfate. This is also having -2 valency. This is known as phosphate. So phosphate, PO4 3-, so 3- -3 is the valency of phosphate. So you have to remember this table. Okay, so right now to solve question, right now you cannot learn all these valencies of these elements given you in the table form, and neither you can learn the symbols. But by solving different questions simultaneously, you can identify the symbols of different elements, and you would be able to recall some of the valencies of some common ions or elements. So let us now solve few questions to understand how you can write the chemical formula of given molecule of a substance. Okay, so on the top left hand side you are able to observe certain names of the molecules. Okay, so like first they have given hydrogen chloride. Okay, so you know the elements present in hydrogen chloride is hydrogen and chlorine. So you have to write the symbol of hydrogen, you have to write the symbol of chlorine. Next step is to write the valency of hydrogen below this and chlorine below the symbol. Okay, so hydrogen here is cation, positive, chlorine is negative. So for hydrogen positive, see hydrogen positive, they have not given hydride, they have given hydrogen, that means positive. So what is the valency of hydrogen? +1, write down, +1. Chloride, -1, -1. Then you apply crisscross. Since there is no common factor to divide, you are applying crisscross. So H1Cl1, you do not have to write minus or plus. Also if this is 1, so you have to omit this. So what is the chemical formula for hydrogen chloride? HCl. Although we have solved this, we will be trying next. Water. What are the elements present in water? Again, hydrogen and oxygen. Once you are able to identify what are the elements or the atoms present in that molecule, you are able to write the symbol of that elements. Like for hydrogen you can write H, oxygen O. Hydrogen, that means the valency of hydrogen is +1. Valency of oxygen is oxygen, oxide is -2. -2. Is there any common factor to divide these valencies? No. What we would be doing next is the crisscross. So, applying the crisscross, what happens is H2O. You would be omitting the signs, you would be omitting 1. What remains is only 2. This 2 would be written on the lower right hand side of the symbol. This is how you have to write the chemical formula. Okay, next is hydrogen sulfide. That means there is element hydrogen, there is element sulfide. Valency of hydrogen is +1. That of sulfide, that means 2 minus. Again there is no common factor, -2, sorry. There is no common factor. You would be applying crisscross. What would be next? H2S. You won't be writing sign when you are writing the number on the lower left hand right hand side. Lower right hand side में लिख रहे हो ना symbol के. So you would be writing only number. If the number is 1, no need to write. If there are signs, you have to omit the sign. Done? Next, ammonia. So in this case, they would be providing you that this molecule contains nitrogen and hydrogen as elements which are involved in formation of this molecule. So you would be writing NH. Ammonia is different from ammonium. Ammonium is the ion. Ammonia is a molecule containing nitrogen and hydrogen. What is the valency of nitrogen? So if you see, for nitrogen the valency is -3. Write down the valency for nitrogen, -3. Hydrogen, what is the valency of hydrogen? +1. Again crisscross would take place. N +1 H -3. You do not have to write the sign, omit the sign. You do not have to write 1, omit 1. So what is the formula for ammonia? NH3. Again, methane. So you will be providing that carbon and hydrogen are the two elements responsible for formation of molecule methane. So we would be writing carbon, symbol of carbon. You would be writing symbol of hydrogen. you would be writing the valency of carbon. Is the valency of carbon provided here? You observe and let me know. Is there any carbide or carbon given in the table? No, not given. Okay. So in textbook it is not mentioned, but you have to remember that the valency of carbon is 4. Okay. So you add in your table which is given in the textbook. Valency of carbon is 4. Okay. So 4. Hydrogen is +1. Crisscross would take place and lead to the formation of CH4. Are you able to get? C के नीचे 1 है, प्लस साइन भी नहीं आएगा, 1 भी नहीं आएगा, H के नीचे आ जाएगा 4. Okay. If I talk about carbon dioxide, you know which elements are there? Carbon, oxygen. Okay. The number of atoms doesn't matter. Say carbon dioxide में तो CO2, तो ऐसा नहीं लिखना है. That is why you have to identify है ना. देखो जैसे यहाँ पे अगर C है, O है, कार्बन का क्या था 4, ऑक्सीजन का क्या है 2, ऑक्साइड था ना, ऑक्साइड का 2 -2. Now there is no need of sign, but the need is here is common factor is there. Yes, 2 is common factor, 2 1s are 2 2s are. So right now carbon, oxygen 2 1. If you crisscross it, it would be carbon 1 O2. That means CO2. 1 you would be omitting it. Okay. Are you able to? Okay. So we solve next set of questions to clarify it more easily, है ना? So on the left hand side you would be able to observe another set of questions. Okay. So see, first calcium oxide, that means the elements present in this molecule is calcium and oxygen. Valency of calcium is +2, that means 2. Valency of oxygen, oxide, is -2, that is 2. Is there any common factor between these valencies? Yes, 2. So 2 1s are 2 1s are. Then, so this can be replaced like this, 1 and 1. If you do crisscross, what happens? Ca1 O1. So 1 is omitted. No need to write 1. So the formula for calcium oxide is CaO. Next, magnesium chloride. This involves magnesium and chlorine. What is the valency for magnesium? +2. What is the magnesium for chloride? -1. You have to omit the sign. Okay. Then, is there any common factor for these two valencies? No. So next step is crisscross. That means Mg1 Cl2. Omit 1. No need to write 1. So what is the formula for magnesium chloride? MgCl2. Okay. Aluminium oxide. That means aluminium Al, oxide O. Valency for aluminium is +3. For oxygen, oxide, -2. No need of sign. Okay. Is there any common factor? No. Proceeding to crisscross. So it would be Al2O3. Al के पास 2 जाएगा, O के पास 3 जाएगा. Al2O3. So for the the chemical formula of aluminium oxide is Al2O3. Okay. Next, potassium nitrate. Potassium K. Nitrate is a polyatomic ion NO3. So should be written in bracket. What is the valency for potassium? +1. What is the valency for nitrate? NO3 is a polyatomic ion. What is the valency? -1. So -1. No need of sign. If we do crisscross, it is K1 NO3, ये पूरे ब्रैकेट पे लगेगा. हाँ, तो नंबर would be placed outside the bracket. Since there is one outside the bracket of polyatomic ion, there is no need to write one. There is no need to put the bracket. So the chemical formula for potassium nitrate is KNO3. Similarly, if you want to solve for sodium sulfate, sodium Na, sulfate SO4, the valency of sodium is +1. The valency of sulfate is -2. Okay? -2. No need of sign. There is no common factor. Next step is crisscross. That means since sulfate is polyatomic ion, you have to keep this in bracket. So sodium Na2 SO4, since polyatomic ion in bracket, outside bracket it is 1. Since outside bracket the number is 1, no need to write 1, no need of bracket, since outside was 1. So what is the chemical formula for sodium sulfate? Na2SO4. Okay. In case if I talk about calcium hydroxide, again calcium hydroxide is polyatomic ion having 2 atoms, so OH. Valency of calcium is +2. Valency of hydroxide is -1. No need of sign, no need of cancelling this, as there is no common factor. Next step is crisscross. So now it would become Ca1OH, ब्रैकेट में आएगा ना, और ब्रैकेट के बाहर कौन सा नंबर आएगा? 2. So since there is no 1, so no need to omit this, but you can omit this number. So the chemical formula for calcium hydroxide is Ca bracket में OH twice. How you would be reading this? CaOH whole. You know, you can read the bracket as whole twice. CaOH whole twice. Clear? So this is how you can, calculate, since you were aware of this valencies, you have the table, it was easy for you to write the chemical formula for each of these molecules. You were knowing the symbol, so it would become easy for you to write the formula for these each molecule. So by knowing the symbol of the element and by knowing the valencies of the ions, different ions, you are able to write the chemical formula very easily. So it is very essential to mug up these table which you are able to see on the lower right hand side. You should be aware of the rules and you should be aware of the symbols of different elements. Then and then only it would be very easy for you to write the chemical formula of each of the molecule of a substance. Okay, so I hope the concept of valency is clear. The concept of writing the chemical formula is clear. So without wasting much time, I would be moving down to the next topic, that is gram atomic mass. So in gram atomic mass, it is the atomic mass of an element which is expressed in AMU or U. If we generally talk about atomic mass, this is expressed in atomic mass unit or unified mass, AMU or U. Or it can be written without any units. Any atomic mass cannot, can be expressed without unit, can be expressed in terms without involving, unit. Either you use AMU, U, or without unit you can express atomic mass. Because why you cannot, why you are not involving units, why there is possibility that you should not place the unit, it would be okay to represent atomic mass. This is because it is the relative mass of the atom of that element. Relative mass, we calculated atomic mass like this, if you recall, I have given the example of mass of hydrogen atom. You were given in grams. You were given, 1 AMU. That was the 12th part of carbon 12 isotope. One part of 12 parts. 12 parts में कार्बन को डिवाइड किया, उसका एक पार्ट लिया. So the mass of that one part is this. Now using carbon and the mass of hydrogen, you calculated the mass of hydrogen in terms of AMU. So that means you are dividing both the masses. While dividing, that means while calculating relative mass, you divided both the mass given of that of carbon and that of hydrogen. So hydrogen ka mass divided by carbon ka mass. So when you would be dividing the unit of gram, gram would be cancel out. There is no unit left. So either you can represent the answer unitless, or you can place the unit as AMU, or simply small u, that is unified mass. Are you getting? So this was about atomic mass. If I talk about gram atomic mass, so when atomic mass is expressed in grams, it is called gram atomic mass of that element. So this doesn't mean that U is simply replaced by G. There is U is simply replaced by G. But what is the basic difference between atomic mass and gram atomic mass? Only the units? No, there is a difference. For example, if we take the example of oxygen. So oxygen 16U, mass of oxygen 16U represents that it is the mass of one atom of oxygen. But if I replace U by G, that means the unit U is replaced by G, gram. If I give 16 gram, so it is representing mass of 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms of oxygen. So 16U is representing mass of one atom of oxygen, while 16 gram is representing mass of this much amount of atoms of oxygen, and this remains constant. Are you getting? So this, or you can say 16 gram is representing 1 mole of oxygen. So 1 mole of any substance, okay, 1 mole is a quantity. Any substance, either it be atom, molecule, any particle, is equivalent to this much amount of that particle. If I say 1 mole of molecule, so this much amount of molecule, 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. So this is a constant which is represented by N naught. N, and in subscript there is naught, N naught. Okay. So this N naught is referred as Avogadro constant, or you can write Avogadro number. So this name was given in honor of Italian scientist Amedeo Avogadro. Okay, and the term mole was devised in 1896 by Wilhelm Ostwald. Okay, this mole is a Latin word which means heap or pile. So since this mole is a pile of particles, is a heap of atoms or molecules, okay, so many number of atoms raised to 23. Are you getting the intense number of 6.022? इसके पीछे 23 zeros, this many number of atoms. Okay, इसके पीछे 23 zeros, this many number of atoms. Okay, so this is referring as mole, and this term mole was accepted in 1967. Although was introduced in 1896, but was accepted in studies in 1967. Okay, so I hope you are getting about mole, you are getting about gram atomic mass. Similarly, if we talk about gram molecular mass, the same thing, like atomic mass can be written as gram atomic mass, molecular mass can also be expressed in terms of grams and is referred as gram molecular mass. For example, if we take that of water, So 18U is representing 18U. How can we get 18U? So water, hydrogen and oxygen. I have already made you calculate the molecular mass. Since there are 2 atoms of oxygen, so 2 mass of 1 hydrogen atom is 1U plus this is 1 atom only. Oxygen का mass कितना है 16U. So 2U plus 16U equal to 18U. So this is how we can get the molecular mass of water. So molecular mass is represented by 18U. That means it is the mass of 1 molecule of water. But in case if I write 18 gram, what makes the difference? The difference is, not only that U is replaced by G, but the major difference is 18G represents mass of this much amount of molecules of water. Here, this much amount of atoms, Avogadro number of atoms of oxygen is the, this much mass of this much atoms is 16 gram. Here, this much number of molecules, mass of this much number of molecules is 18 gram. So I hope you are getting what is the difference between 18U if I say 18U and if I say 18 gram. Okay, so this is the, a very good concept regarding gram atomic mass and gram molecular mass. Now we talk about next, that is formula unit mass. What is formula unit mass? Formula unit mass is same as that of molecular mass. Molecular mass. So what is molecular mass? We are simply, adding the mass of atoms present in that molecule. Just we did here. To calculate the molecular mass, to calculate the mass of this molecule, we calculated or added the mass of atoms. Similarly, in formula unit mass, you add the mass of ions present in that particular compound. Here sodium is Na plus Cl minus. These are the ions. Okay, so you have to calculate the mass of this. Already the mass of this is already being given in a tabular form in your textbook, so you have to remember those mass of few elements or atoms. Mass of sodium is 23. Since there is only one ion of sodium, so 23 into 1 plus 1 ion of chlorine. Mass of chlorine is 35.5 U. Mass of sodium is 23 U. Since the chlorine is only one ion, there is only one ion of chlorine, so 35.5 U into 1. When you calculate, you get 58.5 U. So this is how you can calculate the mass of, formula unit mass of sodium chloride. The unit of formula unit mass is also U. What is the difference between formula unit mass and molecular mass? Is the thing that the constituents of molecular mass is atoms. The constituents of formula unit mass is ions. In case if I talk about calcium chloride, mass of calcium is 40 U, chlorine is 35.5 U. You calculate the formula unit mass of calcium chloride. How you would be? So, atomic mass of calcium, since only one atom, plus 2 into, because there are 2 atoms of chlorine, or else you can say 2 ions of chlorine, so 2 into atomic mass of chlorine. So atomic mass of calcium is 40 plus 2 into atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5 U. That is 40 U plus, you would be calculating this, and finally the answer would be 111 U. This is the formula unit mass of this. So you would be calculating this, and if you get 111, you are correct. You are going correctly, and you are getting the formula unit mass. This is how you can calculate the formula unit mass of different elements. This is how there is a basic difference between 18 gram and 18 U. That is in gram molecular mass and about gram atomic mass. So these concepts should be clear. In case if you encounter with any doubt regarding any of the topic of these chapter, you can directly post your question or mail me the question on the mail address given you in the description box.